Good afternoon, everyone. Charles Moskowitz here. So, exactly what is it that President Trump may have or may not have done to warrant an impeachment inquiry? What it comes down to is simply this. He allegedly violated a campaign contribution law. He violated a Federal Elections Commission ruling. I shouldn't say law, these are rules that would mean that he conducted something in a manner that benefited his campaign for president without reporting it as such. And these sorts of violations, are they really impeachable offenses? Is that high crime and misdemeanor? They happen regularly on all levels of elections since the Federal Elections Commission began setting up these rules, and that usually the response to them is to pay a fine. Barack Obama, for example, paid enormous fines for violating campaign finance rules with regard to making various payments out of campaign funds to various people. Now, I'm not bringing that up to criticize him. I'm simply mentioning it to point out that these sorts of things are almost routine, not exactly routine, and that the handling of them usually involves fines, not impeachment. Furthermore, it's not proven anyway, because President Trump's position is that he wanted Ukraine to help investigate this corruption because it is corruption, and that he did so long before any presidential campaign. And I think that case can pretty solidly be made, even if the motivation was to take out a Democratic opponent. The fact of the matter is that really on paper this is not something that rises to the level of criminality. So what it comes down to then is what kind of dirty tricks are being pulled by the Democrats to try to make this appear to be a crime. Having CIA agents come out and engage in whistleblowing. These are people who worked for John Brennan, who had voted for the Communist Party, and who is involved in some real campaign violations. In other words, the investigation and the creation of false and phony documents, like the phony dossier. I mean, in the case of President Trump, they're not asking the Ukrainians to create something false. They're looking at what has generally been regarded as a case of real corruption. The use of the office of the vice presidency to get financial gain, right? That's what this is. You know, Biden enriched himself through his son. He can't do it directly. And he did so with the Ukraine and with China and possibly other countries as well. I understand Kazakhstan is a country that gave Hunter Biden a big check. That's leveraging your office to enrich yourself. I mean, by just a simple casual observation. I don't think that, I mean, really, I mean, would Hunter Biden be given $1 million in monies because he's some kind of a genius on oil? I mean, this is the kind of stuff I would point out in the past that Jimmy Carter's brother got in trouble for this, Billy Carter, for making some kind of a business deal with Libya, his brother's president, who was leveraging his power. Now, in that case, I don't think Jimmy Carter was involved. The brother was just trying to grab some bucks. He was corrupt, and it was undone. But with Biden, he certainly was involved. I mean, the son was on the plane with him on the way to Ukraine. I mean, for Biden to suggest he knew nothing about it, that's BS. So, President Trump is trying to investigate real corruption. Yeah, he's partisan about it. That's true. He's not looking at Republicans who are doing the same thing oftentimes. We don't want to get into names, but it's not quite as serious and quite as bad. But it opens the door, and I think that the media, if they were half honest, might take a hard look, like Peter Schweitzer did in his excellent book, at the phenomena of the American government officials using their positions to enrich themselves and leverage themselves. But they won't do that because most of these people are liberal Democrats, starting with the Clintons. Anyway, so those are my thoughts today on this situation. A campaign finance violation. We're going to impeach a president over that. Maybe have his campaign pay a fine, maybe, if they find that. And it's really what it comes down to. Thanks for watching, everybody.